Ugh. All right, so we are. Oh, look at her. She's up there now too.
Hey, get down. Get down. Stop.
All right, so we're working on this a series of paintings here, and we got 9 of 9 of 10. So I had this series of 10 large paintings that I wanted to do, but one of them I had done like a month ago, and I recently had a motivation. I needed to get 9 paintings, and I wanted to do 9 paintings in 9 days, but it looks like I'm gonna beat that. I'm actually gonna do 9 paintings in 8 days because I had an extra day to an extra free day where I was able to do 2 painting sessions. So I'm knocking each of these abstract pieces out in about around 3 hours is the estimate for each of these paintings, and they're very colorful, very expressive in many ways, fairly large. They're 24 by 36 in size, and this one has more meaning to it, symbolism, than the other ones, but as far as painting goes, you get the idea. So here we go. Let's actually get some of our canvases together. Let me get some gloves on. I have to rearrange my space because these paintings are so big that they've started to they have taken over the apartment. So let's see how we're going to rearrange this. And when I'm done, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to stop painting. It just means that I'm going to take a little bit of a break from these large paintings and then paint other stuff. So that is the goal. And let's see, let's move this painting over a bit. Let's see, we're gonna go this painting over here. All right, there we go. One painting has moved. And then we're gonna move another painting. That's not enough space. Might work. Let's see. Let's pop open our other canvas here. So these are canvases from Arteza. And honestly, as far as canvases go, there was this other one by US Art Supply that I prefer. I feel like it's the US Art Supply ones are made a little bit better as far as the price goes. They're both about the same. Arteza is a little bit more expensive. But US Art Supply just feels, something about it feels better. There we go, open up our new canvas here. And dump out our plastic.
Hi.
And here we go, let's take this off here. And let's see what we can do about this painting. We could put it up. I put it up here. No, that's not gonna work. Maybe this will work. Alright. Find a good place. I have to bring this painting all the way around to the other side here. Alright, in the process of setting up, organizing these paintings right now, so it's going to be a minute before I get started. But we will get started here very soon. Just got to make sure that these paintings are set up in a way that I can reorganize them later. It's like a house of cards back here. So let's see. All right, this is set up right now. Let's see if it fits. All right, the canvas fits. Let's make sure that we can rotate this a little bit just so that the angle is right on there. All right, we'll be getting started right now. Actually, in another minute, I gotta drink my coffee and open up my paintings. My paint. But it's not. It feels nice when you finish an extended series. It feels nice to start continue on from the series. I don't necessarily know if today's painting is going to be provocative. It's not the goal. But yesterday it was fun to play around a little bit with ideas and concepts that I don't usually go with. And here we go. We got our ochre, we got our pink, our blues. We're gonna need to lay down a lot of blue. Let's grab a lot of blue right now. Blue and yellow. So here we go. We got our ultramarine. So this is definitely going to be one of the colors, as always. And our white is already laid down. I want to do these recent paintings with more diverse color palettes. So I'm trying to start off with colors that are a little bit different than what I usually use, by mixing in either like white, just to change the value of it just a little bit. And let's see, let's pull in, we're gonna have a lot of yellows in this one. So we're gonna bring in our Azo Yellow Deep. And then got our pink, our red, our ultramarine. We got some white, which is great, but we're definitely gonna need more white. So let's add some more of this white here. Use so much white. Still got some darker colors like blacks and burnt umbers. So we're not gonna need too much for darker colors. But what I definitely want to do is I want to take this tube right here that I have and try to get more paint out of it. One thing that's a real challenge with these bigger tubes is they're very dense and thick. So when you're trying to like squeeze tube paint out of it, it can be very difficult. Maybe I just don't have the right tube squeezer. That's possible. There's different versions of these tube squeezers that might be better suited to the job of working with these bigger tubes. But you know, it's one of those things where you pretty much, at some point, you have to upgrade to these bigger tubes if you're going to be painting a lot, because otherwise, the small tubes just don't cut it. Because you'll be using they'll last like 2 painting sessions if you start to go towards these bigger paintings. But yeah, totally a worthwhile investment. And you know the thing about these tube squeezers, so there's 2 kinds. There's this one and then this one. But interestingly enough, both of these will only work for tube sizes that are about 40 milliliters, I want to say under 70, under 100 milliliters. This is a 48. So like as big as this looks, as heavy duty as this looks, as you could tell, that it didn't really work well on this 150 milliliter one, because once you get to the size, the material, this container, it gets very thick, it gets very dense. It's like some form of metal, so or plastic, like very dense plastic or whatever you call it. So it makes it very hard to squeeze even with this. So, you know, you want to keep your tubes, if you're using this, under 150. But unusually, also another situation is this doesn't fit anything. This only fits a certain size. It can't fit these bigger ones. See, as you can tell right here, this one won't go in to here. It literally just will not fit. So, funny. I find it funny that this heavy duty, these two tools accomplish pretty much the same thing. I will say this one's a bit more effective because you'll get this nice tight crispy crunch. These like ridges that show like the paint is really just slowly getting pushed up to the very end. Whereas this one, you're still using your hand power rather than a bit of the mechanical element. Both very useful. You know, it's good to just have a tube twist on some of your paints, which I'm gonna put on some of them right now, just so I have them on, so I don't lose these things. And honestly, I think the amount of paint that you could capture from these is still pretty much the same, but look, just slide it into the slit right there, and then you just go and you twist it. As you can see, you just twist it, and slowly but surely you get your paint to the next dense area. So, amazing tool. And let's go. We're going to use the rest of our phthalo blue here. So I want to demo this. I want to demo this thing real quick, just see how effective. So as you can tell, you know, it almost looks like it's out, right? So I'm going to squeeze out the rest of this, and then we're going to see just how much is left inside after just squeezing it. So we're going to see right here. You might not be able to see, but you know, take a look. I'm going to squeeze out a bunch, as much as I can, as much as my hands will allow me. So it looks like it's pretty much out, right? Looks like it's pretty much out. I mean, obviously there's still a little right there, but let's see how much more we can get just from this. I'm gonna try to close it. It's not closing. All right, there we go. So it looks like it's pretty much out. We're gonna go pop this into our squeezer here. Get it, not squeeze it too tight, but just enough, you know. And just push all the paint up. And look at this. Look at how much extra we got. You could see the amount of paint that was still left in the rest of the tube. It's pretty wild. So that's like at least a fifth of the tube there. 1/5 of the tube. So 1/5 of like 20 milliliters. I think this is 20 milliliters. Doesn't say. Where does it say? 20 milliliters. This is 20 milliliter tube. This has got to be at least like 1/5 of the entire tube that I just squeezed. So like 4 milliliters, maybe even 2 milliliters. 10%, 10 to 20% of the tube never gets squeezed out if you only use your hands. That's a lot of paint that you're throwing away there. But obviously, you know, anybody who's using more expensive paints already has one of these tools. But if you're a new painter and you're looking for like just ways to be more economical, I mean, this is a great investment. Whether you go with this one or one of the twisty things that I showed you, great investment that pays itself back quickly as you start to, the more you paint. Obviously, if you're not painting that much, then you're probably not going to notice the effect. But it is a nice thing to have, just to work with. So it's been 16 minutes. I haven't laid down a single dab of paint yet. So let's do that, shall we? Actually, you know what? I need to pick my brushes first. So I'm going to pick this big brush. I'm going to pick this flat brush. It's a nice flat, bright. I'm going to pick I'm gonna pick I had a really raggedy brush I wanted to use. I'm gonna pick this really thin brush, and there's a really raggedy brush somewhere. I'm gonna grab this smaller round brush. Where's that raggedy brush? Where is my raggedy brush? That's not it. Oh, here we go. I want one big brush. I need to pick one big brush. That's gonna be a rough brush. Alright, here we go. So let's look at this little brush selection I've picked for this piece right here. So always got to have a palette knife. I like to paint with a palette knife. It's very fun. You get a lot of textures. At least for abstract pieces, I like to paint with a palette knife. This is gonna just help us spread paint. It's a very fine-haired brush, so it helps us spread the paint nice and smooth. It's a short flat by Rosemary Co. We got this long round brush. As you could tell, it's become unrounded and it's just very flared out. But I love using these like rougher brushes. Same here. This was originally a filbert, I think. Yes. So this was originally a filbert, which means it was really narrow and rounded, but it has since splayed out and basically looks like, you know, just a funky type of round brush. And I'm gonna use this very narrow, thin brush for some stuff, and then this brush just for as a spreader, a rough spreader. So let's go ahead and get started painting here. And for the record, this is abstract painting. I'm not going for... This isn't a lesson on realism or mixing colors or anything like that. It's more so if you're bored on a Wednesday after, or is it Tuesday? Alexa, what day is it? It's Tuesday. Alexa, off. If you're looking for... Alexa, off. Alexa, off. If you're just looking to see an artist at work on a random Tuesday afternoon or morning or evening, wherever, depending on where you live, this is for you. This live stream is for you. And consider my artwork interactive. Interactive in the sense that you are open to interact. You're open to chat, pop in. This is live. And just a disclaimer, anything and everything you say is being broadcast, obviously, right? It's a live stream. So, you know, just be aware. I think everyone's privacy is very important. So, you know, it's up to you how much you want to share, how much you want to promote. And by the way, like, if you want to come in here just to talk about your art and do like just talk about your pieces, that's cool too. That's cool too. Marianne Sorensen, what's up? Now I know there's some streaming channels out there, some YouTubers that don't like it when other people or artists are being promoted on their channel or mentioned, but you know what? Mine is an open, a commercially open live stream. Meaning commercially, if you want to come in here and plug in something that you do, something that you sell, artwork that you make, or if you're Nike or something and you want to come in here and just talk about Nike, that's fine. If you're, you know, whatever, you can do all of those things. This is This is open for commercial conversations. So, yes. Now, Marianne Sorensen, you're gonna eat soon. Fantastic. Are you making something yourself, or do you have somebody cook for you, or do you make your own meals, or do you eat out? Let's see. This painting is very. These paintings that I've been doing are very intuitive focused in the sense that what I go for is totally not. I don't have a rhyme or reason for some things, and then other things I do. And when I say don't have a rhyme or reason, I feel like everybody, if they were to like dig down and give a truthful answer, they could explain exactly what it was that they were thinking about when they specifically painted a certain area. But usually for me, I call this mindfulness painting, in the sense that I'm mindful and present with this painting, but I'm also a bit mindless. Like I'm not overthinking the painting. You know, it just is. I'm allowing whatever is to become whatever whatever is to become. And let's put this on a couple of places here. This yellow ochre here. I've got this yellow ochre, and let's see what happens if I mix it with the green. I'm gonna mix this green. I'm gonna mix this into our ochre here. We're gonna get like a wooded green pretty much. Let's actually bring some of this green into this. I'm gonna bring some of this green into our colors here. And I guess this will probably be our primary color for this painting. Oh, there's a booger.
So cute sitting here.
Yeah, you're watching them?
Yeah.
They're adorable.
Yes, they're watching me and I'm watching them. Hosted by the door.
You have someone to cook for you. Wonderful. What are they making this evening? Is it traditional Norwegian food, or is it just is it something else? Yes. Marianne is from Norway. My Norwegian
Ask her what the weather's
viewer friends. Kathleen wants to know what the weather is like in Norway. Is it snowing yet? So I'm just building the initial palette up with these colors. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't have a...
You gonna drink your coffee?
Yeah, I did. It's half drinking.
It must be cold then.
It is cold, but it's okay. I've been drinking it. So I really wanted to use up this ochre here. Now let's mix some of our yellow into this ochre. Let's cut some of this yellow, mix it into our ochre here. Grab some of this white. We're gonna make a yellow, very light version of this color here. It's gonna be a very green painting. Traditional, cool, wonderful. Let's see, let's bring this green down. Shades of green. It's gonna be a very wooded painting. Very wooded color. You know what happens if I just make this painting done totally with a palette knife? Now, one of my regular live stream viewers did mention this the other day, of painting with just a palette knife, and I don't know if I'm necessarily going to do that today, but it does sound like a fun idea. just knocking out this painting that just uses a palette knife. And I like it so far. I might have to get rid of one of these brushes here. I'm gonna get rid of, let's narrow down our brush work. And I'm gonna get rid of this brush. It's really rough brush. Nice rough brush here. I do this whole painting with the same palette knife. You get so many different designs with the same palette knife. Traditional, no snow, but it's cold. Oof, yes, cold. It's cold here. It's getting cold here in Los Angeles too. Yeah, it is. It was 47 last night. That's almost free. Well, she says it's cold, but it's not snowing. Yeah, but if you know, if it's snowing, that means that the temperature has reached a certain point that allows for snow.
Right now, in Oslo, Norway, it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
In Oslo, Norway, it is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. 32 degrees, that's basically snow temperature. Huh?
It's below freezing.
Yeah. That's snowing temperature.
Yeah, but it's not snow.
Yeah, I know.
It's a certain combination of elements to snow.
Yeah, just moisture, right?
Must be beautiful.
I'm sure it is, yeah. Must be amazing to live in Norway, Kathleen suggests.
I didn't say amazing. I said it must be beautiful.
Well, isn't it amazing to live in a beautiful place?
It's dark for 6 months out of the year.
Okay.
I don't know. Beautiful in the summer.
Okay, Kathleen thinks it is not as amazing to live in Norway.
Ask the lady from Norway what she thinks. Does she love living there? Or would she rather live in a different climate? Yes.
But I'm giving her time to answer.
Oh,
Yes.
I see.
Things don't always happen instantly, you know. It's
What?
not-
I'm so impatient. I can't wait. I need to know.
Alright, here we go. So, bringing this down. I like where this is at. You know what? I will use a brush to paint some of these sides here. And go around with a nice green on this side. Just gonna paint it. Look at Scott dreaming of a brighter world.
He's sitting on a throne with a crown on his head, commanding
Yeah.
masses of cats to do his bidding. Now that would be Pookie. That's too timid. Have you noticed? He's like very timid. She's the dominant.
Oh yeah, Pookie's definitely much more active and the female in her, the lioness,
Yes.
the fierce caretaker.
Yeah, she does all the work. He just lays back.
Oh, he's just staring at me.
Is he? He knows you're talking.
Yes, while I'm standing in this doorway, he's just staring at me as I paint.
He knows you're talking about it.
Pookie's not staring at me. He is though. It's funny. Just looking. What are you looking at, Scout?
That's fucking
Do people in Norway like dogs more or cats more? I would say people in general in America like dogs more. What do you think, Kat?
Yeah, I do.
Think Americans like dogs more in general?
Dogs
most
are more
people-
universal.
Yeah, I think most countries people like dogs more.
Because dogs, you can take them with you easily, and
You can take cats with you easily.
not as easily.
Not like, on a walk, but
Right. And
like they're easy to just bring with you on an adventure. You just put them in a case.
yeah,
But they are very feisty.
they're used to it. There's a guy on Insta who brings his cats with him everywhere.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they sit on his shoulder. He'll be walking down a sidewalk in New York City. Cats on his shoulder. Like he has like 3 of them. One sits on each shoulder, then one sits on his back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's add some more of this paint.
He trained them for it.
Got Northern Falcon, what's up, dude? Long time no see. So Marianne Sorensen says it's very dark. You don't know if you like it, but it's pretty in summertime. Okay, Kat, it's like she agrees with you. Great.
Yeah, I'd love to go visit. I'd love to visit all of them.
Northern Falcon, what's the latest with you, dude? I see you making great 3D digital art. Let's grab some of this yellow here. We're gonna bring it down the sides. And let's see, we're gonna keep this painting going. Bring this down the sides here. Bring it down the sides. It's great to see my dad getting into artwork in his
that's
retirement.
Cool. Yeah.
Got a
He did
hobby
nice
now.
job on it.
Huh?
Did a nice job.
Well, he's always been a good crafts person. He's never he's always been good at it.
Those are beautiful.
Huh?
Those are beautiful. I wonder what he's going to do.
I think he only made one.
Oh, I thought she said he made something else.
No, I think he only made one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm sure people will ask him to make some more, but
Yeah, it's really nice. Is that the wall hanging? Is that what he said?
ooh, he should sell those on it. I don't. You know what's funny is I don't see my dad as somebody who would be on a website called Etsy. But that type of flag, handmade, could totally be on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Anyway,
Yeah, we're gonna get shopping.
finally seeing the stream again. You've been doing a lot of digital and traditional art. You learn a lot about texturing. It depends on what Instagram post. I mean, I've seen most of your Instagram posts. I think the majority of your Instagram posts, but depending on when you release this last one, I may or may not have seen it. But yes, I do see most of your Instagram posts. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in here with the blue. Take this blue
It's dust.
right into here.
Hair dust. Yes, clean up my hairbrush.
What about dust?
I'm cleaning my hairbrush. So much dust came off of this. Hair dust.
Your hairbrush?
Yeah, hair dust.
Hair dust? What's hair dust?
It's this. I'll show it to you.
Oh,
I don't know why it gets on.
that's funny. I cleaned that the other day.
This brush?
No, my brush.
Oh.
I cleaned hair. I didn't know that was hair dust. I thought it was like particulate matter because I used to use like hair gels.
Oh, well, I don't use that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's unusual.
But hairbrushes always go like this. Just mine do.
All right.
That's a big piece of hair.
Yeah, that's gross. Oh yeah, I saw the astronaut one. That was really good. It was very. You have the makings of a beeple. Do you know who beeple? Northern Falcon. Do you know who beeple crap is? BEEPL crap, CRAP.
People crap?
Yeah, that's his name. That's the name he goes by. He's a very well-known artist. When he launched his NFTs, he made $14 million in like a day.
God.
$14 million in one day. Pretty amazing if you ask me. Huh?
They're that good. People pay that much money.
I mean, I think you just got a really big audience. You know, like when you sell to that many people, you're bound to, you know, when you have work that's so widely known. All right, so it's worth looking up. Beeple. I don't know if he's under Beeple or Beeple Crap, but he's on Instagram. He's a very well-known, and I'm not pitching NFTs right now, but he's a very well-known digital 3D artist. And the thing that made him famous was he made a painting a day, and he's been doing it, or he makes one digital art piece a day, and he's been doing it for like 20 years, 15 years maybe, however many years, like 5, 10, 15, 20, either way, that's still really good. So supposedly he's made one digital art piece a day for like 15 years, but they're all very like, social commentary. He used a lot of pop art. He makes fun of world leaders, presidents, chairmen, nobody. You know, he makes fun of everybody. But they're very interesting works. So, you know, just prepares a very unique style that, you know, could be considered offensive. But he is very successful at what he does. So, might be worth looking into. And you know what? If anything, the motivational element of knowing that there's somebody out there who makes a digital art piece a day, and he's been doing it for like however many years, I find that incredibly inspirational. I find that very inspirational. Oh, you know what? Let's grab some black here. I'm gonna use this burnt umber color. Let's go right here. I'm gonna go, wow. Let's just lay down some more colors across here. I love these colors. And here we go. We're all just using a palette knife for this. Just a palette knife. It's coming up with some really interesting effects. I'm just going to go around this canvas and just use the palette knife here. Use the palette knife. And you know what? I'm finding myself falling into the trap of using super standard colors. So what I need to do is I'm going to mix some of this ochre with blue. I'm going to grab some of this ochre, mix it with the blue. Mix it with the blue here. We're going to get a different color, different version of this ochre here. We're going to go down. And then cross up here. A huge piece of all the manga characters you like. It took a while. You make sure, yeah, dude. Thank you. Thank you for coming here out of all places to share some of the exciting things that you're working on. I am so glad that this is a place that you want to do that. So here's some time. I'm going to grab some of this white here. I'm going to throw it into our blue. I'm going to lighten this blue up just so I can have a little bit of a change of color here. I want to keep using the same, have the same colors appearing over and over. So I want to capture this like light blue right now. Right. Actually, this is like an off blue, leaning slightly towards gray, but I'm gonna mix this color, just bring it right across. Look at that beautiful mixture color, just spreading this color across and down. It's like plums. It makes me think of plums.
Plums in your food.
Oh, thank you. Good to know.
Yes. Delicious.
Smell the bananas. Smell the bananas. Huge piece. Amazing. Doing pop art. Stuff that you love to see. That's awesome, dude. Amazing. Wonderful. Fantastic. Exciting. Great to know. Alright, we're gonna go right here. And we're actually gonna.
Please don't scratch. You can't get fleas. It's not allowed.
We're gonna do smaller strokes for this one. I could totally do an entire series just with these abstract designs. I think now is a good time for a flip. Nice flip. Hey, Scout. Here's the interesting thing that I find about artwork. Like, this is so easy to do, so simple to do. So simple. Anybody could do it. Anybody can pick up a palette knife and just be like, hey, let me just do all these strokes, and you create these beautiful paintings. But you know what? The thing is not everyone is going to do it. For the number of artists that are in existence today, for the number of people that love to paint, everybody's got a different take. Everybody's got a different opinion. Everybody's got a different. Everybody's got a different budget. Everybody's got a different value as far as like what colors are important. Everybody's got a different idea, perspective, theme that they want to tackle, and there's so many ideas out there that artists can get into. And you know what? I don't think people should worry whether it's like easy to do, or I feel like as an adult, sometimes when I paint, at least this was like one of my personal limitations, my personal limiting beliefs early on when I was painting is I have to do something that takes a lot of time in order for it to be nice, right? So like, I would think like, oh, I have to do a painting that takes 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And I've only ever had one painting that took maybe more than 2 weeks of like a couple hours of painting a day. But I used to have this belief that is what made a good painting, an interesting painting, or not just a painting but artwork. And you know what? That can limit you. It limited me. It made me, it did positively make me focus on some things that helped me build good creative skills and ideas and thoughts. But at the end of the day, don't limit yourselves. Do not limit yourselves. Otherwise, you'll be a limited artist. You don't want to be a limited artist, do you? Raise your hand if you want to be an artist with limitations that has self-imposed limits as to what you're allowed to create. Not by any measure of society, but only a measure on your own belief systems. So what's going on? What's my experience been with digital art? Yeah, you could try. You could draw me. That's. You have my Instagram. You can find plenty of photos. What's going on, Omizu? How are you, dude?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So, just painting the edge right now. We are. So, Omizu, you implanted this idea the other day, and as I got started, I was like, I should stick with it. But doing an entire painting with just a palette knife. You know, my only concern with this style of painting, my only concern is that it ends up just being a pretty painting. I was reading this book, and this got to me. They got into my brain and like influenced how I feel about artwork. But I was reading this book. It's called Get the Picture, I think. It's by Bianca Bosker or something like that. She's a woman who really wanted to make it in the art world, and she wanted to make it in the art world, and she really wanted to make it in the art world. So she wrote a book about it. Was like a journalist and started documenting her experience of trying to get into the art world. And one of the things that was a criticism by one of the gallerists that she had worked with was that there was an artist who only paints pretty pictures, and apparently that's not what the art world is about. It's not about pretty pictures. Apparently, I mean, this is just one, gallerist out of how many gallerists are there on this planet? Probably at least a few thousand, maybe even a million. I don't know. Or maybe the art world is much smaller and tight-knit than I might even imagine. But, yeah, so that actually got to me. I'm like, oh, do I really just want to paint pretty pictures? And I know this is going to be a pretty picture. But, yeah. This will just be a pretty picture. I think pretty pictures are great. If you have a niche, if you're gonna make like horse art for people who love horses, or like animal pet art for people who love their pets or cats or whatever. But I feel like as far as modern art is concerned, just painting pretty pictures doesn't really cut it. I agree with them. So otherwise, I wouldn't have committed to it. Committed to accepting their views. But setting limits or boundaries is not necessarily a bad thing. Pretty pictures are good for the art market. What does that mean? I don't know. What does it even mean, pretty pictures? I think it means artwork that's just it's just visually pretty, that that someone wants to potentially just hang in their living room. But we're talking like mass market stuff, right? Something that you might. This is my opinion, by the way. I don't know. I didn't verify from this gallerist what they meant by pretty pictures, but I think we can all take a guess, right, at what this means. There's this, and I'm going to share my interpretation on this live stream, right? But the more I dig into art, and the more galleries I visit that are not totally just like hobby artists, that are actually like professional working artists, the more I see art that's like not just a pretty picture. I don't know how to explain that. There's art that's meant to provoke. I'm sure you know this. There's art that's meant to provoke. There's art that's meant to send a message. There's art that's meant to criticize war. There's art that's meant to criticize social values.
Look who's here, trying to eat my breakfast.
There's art that's meant to inspire. There's art that's meant to, just capture what's on the artist's, what the artist is feeling. So there's all these different types of art. But I think, as far as a pretty picture goes, it's just a picture that you might see, that you could buy
Watch your claws.
At
Watch your claws.
Marshalls or something. That's my interpretation. But again, I am not the leading authority on pretty pictures. So take it what you will. Happy to hear what you think about it. What anybody else thinks about what I just said about this one gallerist's thoughts that just painting pretty pictures isn't necessarily the sign of a great artist. So that's what this is for. We can agree and disagree, everybody, or we can disagree and not agree at all. That's fine too. I mean, as long as it's fine with me. I don't know if it's fine for everybody else, but yeah. So let's go. Let's go here. Like a journey to hell and back. Art is like a journey to hell and back. I like that description. I think it was meant for some of us.
There you go. Have some.
That is a world that is meant for some of us, right? Okay, let's see how we're gonna tackle this. I'm gonna grab some of this blue. And let's bring this to the edge now. We'll bring this to the edge. Bring it to the edge. We're going to grab this navy blue. And this navy blue is going to help us create a sense of volume by adding some darker elements to this painting. Alright, and here we go. I really like how this blue is turning out. It's actually quite a nice blue. And let's go like this. Alright, here we go. Boom. Bring this blue across. Bring this blue down. And then over and about. And here we go. So we're gonna go boom, 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 and we're gonna swipe this down and get that color right there. Swipe it across to get some more color. Let's bring this across. It's creating a darker version of this. So Omizu, it sounds like you've had quite a critical experience of the art world. Is that something that you can talk about? Or is it an experience you prefer not to share? Do you have a book that you could possibly write about it? Let's go. Let's bring some blue into this area right here. One of my favorite artists to follow on Instagram is a British artist named Paul Kenton. He does really cool expressive work with palette knives and straight hard edges. Basically paints these like brilliant cityscapes with just like palette knives and paint that's been flung around. And I'm starting to feel a little bit of a balance issue as far as some of the color goes. So I'm trying to think of a good way to balance it out. Oh yeah, I need some more of this pure rose red. There we go. Put that into this area, this space right up here. Let's start up here. Oh, there we go. There's a nice rose red, rosy red. Now let's go into here a bit. I'm gonna come across just like this. Come across, come down with this. You know what we haven't done is I haven't really mixed this yellow with the red. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna mix this orange, yellow with some of our pink here. We're gonna get a different hue of this. We're gonna lighten up with some white. There we go. Grab some of this white to lighten this up. Got a nice orange. Alright. So, nothing about the art world yet. No mention. So here we go. Where do we go? We're going to lay this down right here. This feels like a good spot. Ah, there we go. It's a nice warm, pale, warm color. I like it. Let's get an edge. Let's go to the edge here. We're going to go to the edge. And not be scared of hitting the edges now. And not that I was actually scared, it's just, why was I not getting to the edge? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know why I wasn't reaching the edge of this painting yet. I guess I'm focused on working the center out. That's why. So here we go. Let's grab some more yellow, and we're gonna mix this color here. It's like a pale, fleshy tone. We're gonna make it. Let's grab some of this red here, this rose. Ah, Pookie! Ah! Yes, give it an extra red, fleshy tone here. And we're gonna go right there. Let's paint that across. But you know what? I will say, Omizu, about the idea of the pretty picture concept. I will say that I think the modern day artist, the artist working today,
in the room?
there's more the artist who knows what people want, which is most of the time pretty pictures and not, some commentary on, the modern day social values or, whatever. The majority of people that are buying art are going to like the pretty picture. And I think today, more than any other time in history, if you want to be an artist that sells stuff, then great, this is an amazing time to do pretty pictures. But if you want to be an artist that, does fine art, that is shown in more galleries, I think there is truth to the idea that it's not just about pretty pictures. But again, nothing wrong with pretty pictures. I definitely, you know, like to create pretty pictures. But that's all you do, then, you know, you might as well just make prints. You can just do prints. You don't have to, you know, play the art game, which is great. I don't know. I mean, we all approach things differently, right? Everybody's approach is valid if it works for them. If it's not working, then you got to change it up. But if it works, it works. Alright, let's get to the edge here. I'm going to go down, across, down right here, cross right there. You know, white is definitely the color that really helps to create extra levels of dimension as far as the painting goes. So you made a very deep in an art world dungeon. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Well, awesome to hear that you've survived hell and you are back to share the story. Very, very nice. And if you had a book, what would it be titled? If you had a book to talk about the art world, your comments on the art world, what would you say the title would be? You know what? I've got some of these extra dark splotches. I want to add some more dark areas. So let's just add like, let's add some blacks. Well, this is a burnt umber, so it's not quite black, but it will definitely break up this painting in certain spots. So let's go down here. We're going to break this area up a little bit. And break this section up right here. Dark colors are really just going to help us break up a lot of what we're seeing to create extra layers, extra dimensions, dimensionality here. And I'm not using pure black, I'm using burnt umber on top of a black. There seems to be some paint boogers right there, so I'm going to take those off, and then let's grab some more of this paint here. And I don't have that much of this paint, so just a few sections I think should be enough to cover the action of so many paint boogers. Huh. Let's go right in here. Or I guess you could just call it Solo Leveling in the Art World. There you go. That's a good book, right? That's a good name for a book. Because you can't help but wonder, what is solo leveling? How does one solo level in the art world? Oh, Northern Falcon asked, what is my experience with digital art? So, my experience with digital art is not the most exciting experience, in the sense of digital art just didn't excite me. And honestly, most of it, I just felt like I was banging my head on a wall because it's so technical. And I mean, digital art is like, you gotta learn not just one tool, but you got to learn like hundreds of tools. And you know what? Like, it's almost like keeping up with the programming language, new technology every 3 to 6 months. Where, you know, I feel like as an artist, the beauty of art is that over the course of 6 months, you're exploring new ideas, you're exploring new ways to paint, you're exploring new concepts, you're exploring, you know, a totally new emotion in your life. You're looking for a totally new way to express an idea. Whereas I feel like in digital art, you know, every 6 months, you know, you're more so like, oh, this is the new bug to worry about in Blender, or Adobe made updates, so I have to learn how to do these new keys, or or oh my goodness, AI. You know, let me figure out how to work with AI. That's what I felt like with digital art. It wasn't so much like, you know, taking one thing and then, you know, pushing it to its limits. It's like taking a bajillion things and then figuring out. It just like felt limiting to me. Like, I know that that's not true because, you know, the possibilities are endless with digital art. You could make anything. You could make a AI robot that makes real art. Like, that starts from digital art. That's how amazing digital art is. Well, my experience is I felt more like a computer like programmer, constantly like, you know, computer programming. You go, you program, you test it out, then you program some more, you test it out, and if it doesn't work, you gotta like go through in every line and try to figure out where the bug was. I mean, the software that tells you like, hey, this is where the error is. Then you gotta like search it up and figure out how to do it. And I felt the same way with digital art. It's like, oh, I can paint, draw, and of course everybody gets better at digital art as you practice and you learn the tools. And there's multiple different ways to do it. But then, like, you know, you get stuck somewhere and then you do some research, try to figure out what the key was, the button to press, the tool, and you search for like however long to figure out how to do that, and you go back and you fix it. And I felt more like a tech person rather than an artist. And there's huge demand for that. That's why digital artists are paid so much, at least the good ones, and we don't even know how long that's going to last because of AI. And plus, there's so many great artists all around the world. Like, you know, so much work on graphic design and graphic art is being outsourced to, you know, the Philippines, artists in India, artists in the Eastern Europe. Like, so much of it is being outsourced to those wonderful artists out there that, like, you know, American with a high cost of living, being a digital artist it's incredibly challenged unless you're able to become a digital fine artist. And you know what? You shouldn't not do something just because it's hard. I don't think that you should avoid doing something just because it's going to be a challenge to break into it. But if you have a true passion for it, you should definitely go for it. But I definitely did not have a true passion for digital art. I enjoy it. I like to create things in multiple different ways. I enjoy it to an extent, but ultimately, it did not feel like the best use of my personal creativity. Hey, maybe one day I will go back to it. I don't know. But for now, I am totally happy just painting and getting a gallery show once in a while. And as I start to build up more, you know, I know what I gotta do. Get into more shows and stuff. And shows are really fun. And the only thing is, you know, fine art itself, if you're gonna do fine art, it's a really whole different hustle because, you know, if you do digital art, if you do technical 3D art, you can find a job. You know where to look, right? Like the job postings are always, hey, we need an expert in Blender. We need an expert in Unity. We need an expert making materials or textures. We need an expert in landscape design for an upcoming Disney movie. We need someone who has experience launching a AAA game. I don't know what they're called, but like a really high-end game with a huge company, and we need somebody to help, you know, do the graphic design and concept art for that. So the job path or the career path is really quite clear if you can build a portfolio. That's one of the beauties about digital art, I think, is that the path to success is much clearer. And there's so much you could do with digital art. Like you could do an entire YouTube channel just helping people figure out how to solve simple problems in digital art. Like some of my most popular videos are just like solutions to really, really simple problems doing digital art. You know, you can teach courses, and you don't even have to be that great of a digital artist to teach courses. Yeah, you just have to be good enough that you know a majority of the tools, how to use them, and some of the exciting tricks, any exciting trick that you can come up with. And you know what? Digital art isn't just about the actual art itself. As far as like, hey, this is a pretty picture, whatever, but you can sell so many assets. There's so many things you can offer as a digital artist that you can entrepreneurially. I will say that drew me to digital art in the sense that I can make like tools for digital artists. I can make photo packs. I can make you know, stamps. I can make brushes, which I've sold stamps and you know, different things doing digital art. But the physical element of it, it's much physical stuff. This stuff, it's much harder to sell around it. So anyway, like you could probably make a living just designing simple objects that people could use in video games, like boxes, chairs, human bodies. Human bodies are not simple, but once you get a model or two, I mean, you just figure out how to manage it in 3D, and you've got, yeah. I mean, you're creating your own job, right? I mean, you're creating your own job as a digital artist. But there's so much opportunity, and that is my experience with digital art, as Northern Falcon was asking, is there's a lot of opportunity there. And what's great is once you upload like a product, an asset that people can use, you know, you get royalties on it. You get payments. I randomly get payments from ArtStation because of some stamps that I uploaded a few years ago. It's not a lot of money, but if you can get creative, if it's something you enjoy, the opportunities are there. They are boundless, endless. You can do it. And you know what? If you live in a country where the cost of living is lower than, like, say, Los Angeles or New York City or, you know, Miami or San Francisco, where the cost of living is much lower. You know, if you live in a country where, like, you can, 1 week's pay in the United States, you can live off for like 2 months or even 1 month. You know, like it's perfect opportunity to just get you and a couple of art friends together and just pump out assets for people. Almost. Amisa, what do you, when you're quoting Humphrey Bogart, what do you mean? Like, what is the, Can you expand on that? I'm not quite sure what is making you say that or write that. Are you saying people should do it all, or are you saying, or is there a context of that quote? But yes, there are so many opportunities. But that's why there's so many opportunities, because it is incredibly challenging and not everyone's going to do it. But again, I think in the future AI is going to totally take over. Like I know this one. I had this one mentor. He's a well-known artist for some top video games. I'm talking like Blizzard. He does art professionally for companies like Blizzard, the original like StarCraft, things like that, games like that. A lot of other games. I want to say like, what was the game I played recently? Like Cyberpunk, and they were saying things like, they knew a manager, a director of art, who was also responsible for creating some of the assets, and all they did was they outsourced the artwork to these people in another country. I don't know what country it was, but he like took money out of his own like salary to pay these people, which was not very like his salary was great. He made a lot of money, but he never made any of the art himself. He just hired out this team from outside for really, really, really cheap, and that's how he came up with the art that made him a leading artist figure at one of these big companies. Now, this isn't my mentor that did these things, but he knew somebody that would do these things. And you know what? It's only gonna get wilder. It's only gonna get more like that, especially with AI. Like they don't even have to go outside the country anymore. They could just, yeah, exactly, a smart business person, right? An artist who's also a business person. This other guy I know, Jama. He's a director for like Star Wars concept art or whatever. And I see some of the stuff he does. So he sells these assets, these like 3D assets that you can use on tools like Blender. And it turns out he doesn't even make them himself. He always partners with another person that makes these tools and does this coding to create these special tools and plugins for Blender. And he publishes them under his name, and he makes a lot of money on them. I mean, of course, he knows how to do some of this stuff, but you dig in, and you're like, these really smart business people, artists as business people, are, totally figuring out the game. So, anyway, yeah, it's some business thoughts there. But you know what? As much as we all know these ideas, you do have to build a brand. You do have to, build that level of success to where people want to buy things that have your name on them, that are attached to you. It takes a long time. That takes effort. Some people can do it faster than others. Some people do it more successfully than others. But at some level, it's very important to build that brand. And it doesn't come overnight. But like with anything, those people who are building this stuff for the guy named Jama, are as much needing his brand to help them sell their ideas as Jama needs their help, probably. And I'm sure he doesn't even pay them up front. I'm sure he just gives them a cut of the final product. But because he has that brand, he knows that he can, sell a lot, which is great. I mean, good for him. Again, I'm making up what I believe to be true, but if you actually go look at his products on ArtStation, you'll see that some of them are like collaborations, and I don't necessarily believe that he's the one making all the software, because I can't imagine him having the time to. I think he's the business brains behind all of it, and maybe he does, but yeah, I don't know what his schedule is like. So I don't know how busy he is, but I just can't imagine someone who's the director of art for like Star Wars is also, you know, developing and selling software when he already knows he can just hire somebody to do it for him. So anyway, that is some business talk here, right? Just talk about everything, business. But yeah, I love making artwork. I love the craft and the making of it. And the business side is totally important. You can't skip out on the business side and just, you know, do the art. You gotta have some sense of business acuity. And I am totally not going to make software for Blender. But you know what? If we're talking about it, I hope that I can at least give some interesting ideas to people who are interested. All right. So let's see, we've been going for about an hour. We're just gonna keep building this out. Keep building out these colors. Keep building this out. Let's grab some more of this really dark blue that we have. I haven't even fully utilized this powerful ultramarine color. I can really just lay this down. There we go. All right. And let's see. We're gonna layer this gray blue on top of it. I'm just gonna go down like so. Actually, I think as we go around, we're gonna lay down bigger stretches of color. I'm gonna go with bigger ranges of color, bigger stretches, rather than these like small little rectangle squares of color. We go bigger as we go around the outside so that we get a different look. All right, we're gonna get a different effect. Otherwise, everything's all the same. We just see all these like colors kind of stacked on top of each other. And it makes it uninteresting if it's all the same. So yeah, that's the idea. We're going to carve out larger sections with these colors. And here we go. Let's just carve out another really big section right down here. Let's go down here. We're going to go there we go. Go big or go home. I'm already home. So my only choice is to go big or not paint at all, right? Here's a philosophical question. Is it possible to not compare yourself to somebody else? Like when I think, because when I just thought of this, I was like, go big or go home. And I think I'm going big with this painting. This is, you know, one of the larger paintings that I do. But then I'm like, the first thing that pops into my mind is like, whoa, this is amazing artist that I really like to follow on Instagram, Paul Kenton. And this dude paints like massive wall size, like 10 times the size of this. Let's see, what would 10 times be? This is 24 by 36. So it'd be like 10 times. Would that actually be 240 times by 360, which would be 30 feet by 20 feet?
30 feet by 20 feet sounds pretty big. 30 feet, yeah, but I mean, maybe it's more like 10 feet by 9 feet or 8 feet. So, you know, I'm like, instantly, my mind is like, whoa, this other dude's doing that stuff. This is not even going big.
How hard is it? It's so hard not to compare yourself to an unreasonable expectation of someone, you know. He's a great artist. I'm not actually comparing myself to him, like saying that, oh, this art is just as good as Paul Kenton's. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, you know, instantly your mind will go to this other comparison, this other person whose work you're like, wow, that's amazing work. And it's not always good for you. But, you know, people always say, don't compare yourself to others. But is it possible? Is it actually possible? I don't think so. I think comparison is a natural state of being. Or maybe the better quote is to don't let your comparison of yourself to others negatively affect you or bring you down, right? Don't bring yourself down by comparing yourself to others. It's okay to compare, but just, you know, don't bring yourself down because of your comparisons. Here we go. We gotta do bigger colors, bigger movements. These movements are too small here as far as what we've seen in the center. So I want to go bigger with the movements around the outside. Otherwise, it's just like, it's kind of boring. So bigger movements, bigger stretches of color. Let's grab a big, dense stretch of color right here. And we're going to go down with this yellow, right down here, bam. And we're going to go down here, this yellow, oh, scraped off some of the yellow. Yes, I am home. Let's grab some more of this yellow. We're almost done with this yellow. We're almost out of this yellow here. We're going to go stretch on down. Come on down to the paint factory. All right, come on down. I wonder if anybody will notice that that this doesn't go all the way to the edge. Probably. Excuse me. Let's go bigger. Let's go bigger. Big stretches of color here. Let's try to mix some of our color. I'm going to go with this yellow, red, orange color. Let's go up here. Here we go. Cross. Cross right there. As we go along the outside here, I want to go with bigger strokes of color. It's just going to create an extra level of dimension and layer. And here we go. Just cover these larger spaces. And I will admit, some of it is just so I can make sure that the spaces are filled, so it's not like some of it has to happen. Here's something that's on my mind right now. My live streams, by the way, I know Mizu's been here for a while, but those of you that might just be tuning in, you don't always hear what my live stream is about. But you know, sometimes my live stream is just like one big monologue. And this isn't how I go about living. I don't just share everything that's on my mind in person. But as far as my art stream is concerned, this is all part of the act. We can call it part of the act, the live stream experience of, you know, sharing the thoughts as they come about. It's part of the art, part of the creative process. You
you know, just like a live, what do you call it? Stream of consciousness. And just a moment ago, I was going to share a thought. I forgot what it was because I wanted to talk about what this is about. What was my thought going to be? Totally forgot. I forget things sometimes. A lot of times, actually. But let's swap this around. And oh yeah, okay. What was that? What I was going to say is, here's something, and by the way, I share these because eventually I'm gonna like write them, so it's like a live journal for me of just keeping track of ideas. And then when I can like talk about them or express them, it makes it so much easier to write about them later. But here's an idea: don't allow the fact that something can be easily done prevent you from doing it. And what I mean by that is, here's a piece that's pretty easy to do, right? I only use one brush. All I'm doing is taking huge globs of paint and like smashing them together. And I don't know if anything will ever come of this. I don't know if it'll ever make it into a gallery. I actually do have a show coming up at the end of this month that I'm submitting this to. So you never know. But I don't like to... Although I'm pretty confident that it'll get in there, I'm not gonna, you know, I can be superstitious sometimes. I'm not gonna jinx it, but I will talk about it. You know, I feel comfortable at least talking about it. So this is going to be submitted to a show, not necessarily knowing whether it will make it, but you know, the idea that just because it's easy, other people can do it. Doesn't mean that people are interested enough to do it. Doesn't mean that they're going to be passionate enough to do it. Doesn't mean that they're going to, you know, totally take the risk that it's just going to be hanging in their living room as a giant painted abstract piece. And not everyone likes this type of work. So I do feel like there's this question that gets asked. It's like, how long did it take you to paint that? And you know, it almost feels as if, like, if I was to say it only took me like 2 hours to paint something, you know, nobody, you know, we all think of our lives in a sense of how much we're making per hour, right? Like $20 per hour, $30 per hour. There's always this question of how much should I sell a painting for? On like Reddit, people are asking how much should I sell a painting for? And then, you know, and then there's always this advice. It says, well, break it down. How much do you want to make per hour? And honestly, I think that's the wrong way to go about it. Yes, if you're making like digital art, if you're making digital art, if you're making paintings of people's pets, and you've got like a system going, then yeah, okay, fine, charge by the hour. But if you're working as like a fine artist, if you're working as an artist who, you know, does things that might be out of the box, if you're doing paintings that are not commissioned by people, but you're making them because you think that one day they will go into a gallery, they will go into a, you know, a space, a studio that, you know, you love to explore ideas, creative ideas, then I think at some point, you know, it is important for you to, you know, not be afraid to tackle those ideas. So anyway, here we go. We're going to be doing this, and I think we're almost done here. We've almost filled out this entire thing. Make art. So Mizu says, make art for the working class. Yeah, I mean, that's what kitsch is, right? Like the make art for all classes, dude. I think we should make art for all classes. And that's what prints are for. It's beautiful that we can create prints and sell them online, and then sell the original for a much different, and then sell the originals. Oh yeah, so back to the question. I see this question on Reddit a lot when there's like new artists, and they say, well, how much should I sell my art for? And then they say, break it down by how much you want to make per hour. And that's like a really easy answer, but I don't think it really it doesn't do the artist justice, because, depending on if you're making digital art or whatever, if you're a fine artist, you really got to break it down by the amount of time that it took you to reach a certain point. So, you might finish a painting or a sketch or something in 1 hour, in 2-3 hours, but sometimes those ideas take years to manifest, or months even. So that's the time that you should be counting, and not just how long it took you to make just one specific piece. Again, if you're known for like doing sketches of people's dogs, then yeah, charge by the hour. Charge a lot by the hour. But if you're known for exploring concepts of humanity, if you're known for branding, if you're known for something, or if that's your goal, to be known for a certain type of artwork, then don't judge yourself based on how many hours you spent on one idea. Don't judge yourself based on just the hours that you worked on it, but on the hours that you spent to craft, to reach a final decision, to reach your creative conclusions. And usually that's like my answer when people ask me for how much time did I spend on a painting. But let's see, we're gonna go bring this down right here. So Mizu says, there's already art for the wealthy. I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, there's definitely art for the wealthy. There's art for everybody. As Keith Haring said, there's art for everybody. But it sounds like you got something more that you're trying to express there with what you're saying. Because obviously, we can all buy lots of art. You go to Marshall's and get these. You go to IKEA and buy a 40-inch painting of Van Gogh's Starry Night. And I don't know if that's what you're trying to say. Like, you're trying to say, like, because Van Gogh painted he wanted to make more art for the middle class. But also, thinking of his timeline, he was painting the middle class, but or not even the lower class. He called them peasants, the peasant class. He was painting the peasant class. But he was also he was building his practice at a time when prints were just becoming more and more viable. And I want to add some more red to the outside here, so I'm going to grab some more red. Yeah, definitely feel free to share, more about your thoughts on what you're saying there. Obviously, I'm here, and to an extent, my job is to continue monologuing because that's part of the art. But I'm happy to hear and read about other people's thoughts and sentences. And you're in the wrong market, or you just haven't found the right person who will pay what you're worth. I mean, that's true too. I've had the, I happen to be very fortunate that I moved to Los Angeles and that, that the few people that I have bought my pieces were willing to pay a good amount. They're willing to pay a good amount. But at the same time, yeah, market is totally important. You cannot deny the importance of knowing where to find the right people who will buy your pieces. And it's not just about money either. It's like, subject matter. If you want to sell art for high prices, you got to be at like Art Basel. It helps to be there. You don't necessarily have to be there, but it will help because that's where the buyers are going, right? I'm going to add a little bit of red right into here, just so it's a mixture of these reds. Yeah, like any business, our market is important. But hey, there's still artists that are able to make a living in cities. Like I know artists in Vermont, very small city, but they have a great art scene that supports their local artists. And there's artists that I've seen there that have their art in like different cafes that are well known, and there's galleries that talk about the artists that built their careers in Vermont. And I would have never thought of Vermont as a booming art town. So, sometimes maybe it's just a matter of continuing your search to find that person, that market. Or defining it, making sure that, just defining it. But you're in Minnesota. Minnesota should be a pretty decent art scene, right? I feel like Minnesota's a great art scene. I don't know anything about the Minnesota art scene, to be honest, but just any city, in my opinion, probably has a good art scene. Any small city, because there's always, that group of people who are trying to, create a new expression in the city, make their way into the city. And there's always funding from the government of like, hey, the local library wants your ideas for creative murals or whatever. Oh, you're in Iowa. Oh. Well, I don't know about the art scene in Iowa, but Des Moines, I'm sure Des Moines got a good art scene, no? What do you think? You tell me. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you if you caught my sense of shock when I said Iowa, because I was like, because I'm like backtracking on what I said. I was like, every small city probably has a good art scene, and I'm like, does Iowa? Maybe Iowa doesn't. I don't know. But hey, the grass is always greener. I'm literally living in Los Angeles, one of the biggest art scenes on the planet. There's New York, but I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, should I move to New York? Maybe I should move to a smaller town, build practice there, and then go back to a big city. The grass is always greener. You're always going to be thinking, especially, I work in film and TV too. I work as an actor, and there's this whole debate that a lot of actors have is, oh, should I move to Atlanta? Should I move to New Orleans? Or people in Atlanta are like, oh, if only I could move to Los Angeles. If only I had enough credits. If only I had enough reputation that I could move to Los Angeles. So You know, I guess the grass is always greener, and sometimes the grass is greener, but it doesn't mean you can't water your own lawn. It doesn't mean you can't fertilize it where you are. I just made that up. I like that. I'm gonna save that. Just because the grass might be green on the other side doesn't mean you can't water your own lawn. But you know, I'm not the best example of that because I've obviously moved to places that I felt the grass was greener. I don't like how this painting has the remnants of the board behind it. So I'm going to try to get rid of that. Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. But I want to do it without making it too muddy. So let's go like this. I'm going to bring this down. Let's go bring in our white. We're just going to go up with this. Note to self. Do not use Arteza canvases. I'm not the biggest fan of this canvas. Mainly because the imprint section, the part where the canvas meets the back boarding is so close to the surface that that it will create these imprints that you have to work around. I would recommend the US Art Supply version of this. And let's see. Let's go. You can't notice it too easily unless you're like looking really close, which, you know, I'm sure somebody will look very closely at some point, but I'm trying to avoid it. I would love to not have these remnants. Comes down to what one wants as an artist. Right on, dude. Don't look in other people's windows. Love that. Love that quote. Don't look in other people's windows. Although I will say, as far as art goes, I feel like people are always have big, wide open windows with everything on display that you can't help but look into it. What do you do then? What do you do then? What is the answer there? I don't know. Alright, so the other thing, like these canvases are so tight to the edge, but it's just like a small bar as opposed to I don't know why this has like a groove on it. It will adapt and adjust. So here we go. Let's grab some paint right here, and we're just gonna go bring this down and around. And then on this side too, let's go bring it around town. All right, let's keep this. Let's see. Let's go with some ochre. Let's go with some ochre around the outside here. Let's go with some ochre around the outside. Just to bring back what we had in the center. Can you imagine that we started with yellow ochre and you don't see a single bit of yellow ochre right now? What's going on? What did I do? How did I mess that up? Let's see what the ochre and this blue make. I'm gonna go with this ochre and this blue. And we're just gonna go in here. Let's bring down this color and go cross right. No, there's so much green right there. Let's bring this ochre and this blue. I'm gonna go in, down, and around. Oh, I remember what I was supposed to do. I'm supposed to bring this around town, not into town, around town. Oh, that's not good. All the paint went on the floor. It's not where it's supposed to go. But better than the garbage can. Alright. That's better. Here we go. We're going to bring this right into here. Let's go to the edge of this. Edge, scoop that. Edge of this, scoop it around. Grab this blue. There we go. Edge of this, scoop it. Scoop it around, there we go. Scoop that off. Scoop it down here. Let's go up here too. Something I'm in danger of doing is making the edges a little bit too blurry, simply because I'm trying to get all the way to the edge.
You know what we gotta do? We're gonna flip this. It's all display. Window display. Alright, got our gamblin. Let's go. Let's use up the rest of this gamblin color. Let's use up our gamblin 1980. So here we go. Actually, this is a good time for this tube squeezer. A cad yellow light. Nice little tube squeezer here. And lay this paint down. Oh, got some drips. Had some drippage there. Let's go across with this yellow. Right across. Get some yellow into here. Some yellow into this section. Yellow down here. And across. And make sure that I just fill this space in this section here. I don't know how this all came to be. Alright, let's go with this dark blue. Go up here. This canvas was definitely not designed for palette knife work because it's obviously very, these ridges, my goodness. All right, let's flip this. I think what needs to happen is I gotta take a brush and go around the edge. I gotta take a brush and go around the edge because there's so much just paint just gunked up on the edge. Whereas if I just use this gunked up paint to go in further, I can solve the majority of my problem here. It's okay if it starts to blur around the edges, as long as I can just get to the edge. As long as I can just get to the edge, all of our problems will be solved. Alright, we're going to have to go back to that in a little bit. We just get right up here on the top. I want to lay that down. Flip it around again. Give it a 360 flip. And let's see, so much paint that got onto this side. Should have just done this in the first place.
go like this. You know what, Amizi, I just thought of something. But I don't know if you're still here. But since you said make art for the middle class, and you know, this is totally just philosophical business discussion here. But you know, does the middle class, in your perspective, your definition of what it means to be middle class or whatever, since you brought it up, do you think the middle class truly desires all sorts of types of art? Or do you think, you know, they're just like the wealthy, in the sense that, you know, some of them would just love to get a great deal on a piece of art that they can resell for hundreds of thousands or millions? On display, windows, etc., etc. Clean that brush off. Let's go. I think we can actually work towards the edges now without worrying too much about what's happening. So let's go blue right here, blue on red, blue on green. Go across with this blue here, across, down, and across with the red, down, cross, down, cross. And here we go. There we go. Let's bring a nice, oh my gosh, there's so much paint on this palette knife right now. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I don't just want to lay it down just because I have it. There's more paint than is necessary to fill the rest of this canvas right now. Okay. Huh. Almost there. My gosh, look at all this paint that we've collected. I'm not going to be able to use this. I will have to... This is just like a muddy color. I have to place it on my next canvas. I'm actually just going to lay this down for now. And I'm going to take another brighter color and just fill in the remaining parts here. The remaining parts. Let's make sure this gets to the edge here. And, oh, here we go. And let's go. Get our yellow.
And go across like so. Go down a little bit right there. Scrape that. I like it. I like it. The edge work here is going to be very interesting because I'm going to have so much paint left over. Alright, let's grab some red here, and we're just going to lay it down right up here. Red, red, red on green, 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 red, green, red, red. And there we have it. Alright. Oh, right here. There we go. That looks better. Okay, cool. Add some more color down here. This section needs a little bit more variety. Not too muddied. Got just enough textures to make this pop a little bit further. And I could do an entire series like this. I could totally see myself doing an entire series like this. This is exciting. Alright, but we are done for the day. How exciting is that? How great is that, people? We're done for today. This is painting number 9 out of the 9 paintings in a row that I wanted to do. I did it in 8 days instead of 9 because I had an extra full free day. And it's a part of a series of 10 paintings that I'm actually going to have. I'll be submitting to a show. So this is exciting. You don't have to wish me luck, but if you'd like to, that'd be nice. But only the hands that hold the cards to this show will be able to decide. So tomorrow I'm going to start taking photos of everything, high quality photos. But actually, you know what? I need to sign my signature. I always forget to sign my signature. I think I'll do my signature on the side this time. Let's go with the yellow, red. Let's go with red. Go along the side, so. And there we have it. So an entire painting done with the palette knife. Been wanting to do a painting like this for a while. And thanks to various exciting people sharing thoughts, I finally committed to it. And all I can say is I'm very glad about it. I like it. I like the way it turned out. It's absolutely dense with color. You know what? We're going to leave this for now at this angle so I can take a photo. I want to make it a horizontal painting. These horizontal paintings tend to fill a wall. You know what? We can make it horizontal. Why not? We can make it vertical. Let's make this a vertical painting. This could be any painting. Any angle that you decide to hang this at is the right angle. There is no wrong. That is my philosophy with
with this piece. There is no wrong way or right way. There is only your way. And let's wrap this all up, everybody. Hope you all have a wonderful day. And I have to go to work in a couple hours, but glad that I was able to get out. Fun project like this. And I will say, this project was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it to anybody. This style. It's fairly easy to do. The hardest part really is just getting comfortable. Getting comfortable with laying down the thick paint and trying not to just overly smudge paint together to just be one big blended, single color. Well, we're done, everybody. Take care. Thank you, and have a great day.